Welcome to the virtual tour of Bywater, a town of West Farthing in the Shire. This village has been restored to its form in the late Third Age during Shire Reckoning, SR 1401 to 1418, also known as the Frodo Baggins era, courtesy of the Shire Preservation Society. Please note that some differences in pattern and colors exist between the 3D model and the sneak peeks of animated spaces slated to appear in the hypothetical animated musical. All artistic liberties taken during the restoration and the making of its virtual tour have factual backing based on architecture from the real world. Finally, the virtual tour is shown at two heights: standard Hobbit height of 42 inches or 1.07 meters, and estimated Frodo height at 48 inches or 1.32 meters. As the name suggests, Bywater was a hobbit town in the Shire located by the water, specifically called the Water, the hobbit name for a river that emptied into the Brandywine River. Unlike Hobbiton, which appeared to be a late medieval village overseen by a landlord, Bywater was a commercial center occupied by working and middle-class hobbits who owned a shop or knew a trade. This reconstruction of Bywater considers many factors, including a map created by Tolkien, prehistoric town design, medieval market towns, revivals of medieval architecture occurring during the 1950s in the real world, and design features specific to pubs and shops still used in modern England. Our first pair of stops are the Green Dragon, an inn built during the mid-Third Age, and the Ivy Bush, a tavern built around the same time period. The architecture of these pubs may be familiar to those who have visited small town pubs in the United Kingdom. Also much like pubs in the real world, these establishments were a cultural and historically significant aspect of Hobbit life. These buildings likely experienced a high level of activity in the evening throughout the Hobbit week. Common activities at these pubs included talking, singing, drinking, and playing games. The goings-on of these inns were likely similar to those during the late medieval period in England between 1350 and 1600, when alehouses, taverns, and inns served people from all walks of life. Alehouses tended to serve the lower class, inns tended to serve the upper class, and taverns likely provided for those emerging middle class. While the Ivy Bush and the Green Dragon must have been competitors, their reputation seemingly changed over time. At the beginning of the adventures of Bilbo Baggins in SR 1341, the Green Dragon was an inn serving the wealthy elite, as Dwarf King Thorin Oakenshield and his group rented from the establishment, while the manor owner Bilbo was familiar with the establishment. The Ivy Bush was featured in SR 1401 as a place for working-class hobbits. Hamfast the Gaffer Gamgee and his companions held forth there. By SR 1418, Sam Gamgee and his working-class friends gathered in the Green Dragon, showing that the reputation of the establishment was in decline. Older Hobbit lads preferred Ivy Bush, while younger Hobbit lads preferred Green Dragon. On our way to the post office, we will walk past several shops that have been reconstructed but are currently not open to the public. Contributions from visitors like you support our organization and will allow these buildings to be open in the future. The purpose of these shops was similar to those found in England as early as the 15th century, but the architecture is markedly different. English shopkeepers preferred timber-framed market halls, which were open on the ground floor, allowing customers to see the wares of the sellers. The upper floor had typical walls to offer privacy and storage. As clever as this design was, Bywater hobbits would not appreciate it, as they did not build second floors on their houses. The name of the main road through the area has been translated to High Street. A consumer revolution first developed in the Shire when it was a colony belonging to the country of Arnor. Even with the collapse of that government hundreds of years before, hobbits at the end of the Third Age facilitated the passage of goods across their country at a rate never before seen in Middle-earth. High Street was already the busiest road in the town, and adding shops along the road was the simplest way to attract customers. Businesses in the shops along this road included cabinet makers, woolen drapers or cloth sellers, haberdashers or sewing supplies sellers, and saddle makers. We now enter the Bywater post office. By the end of the Third Age, the Shire had a postmaster and messenger service, as mentioned in the Fellowship of the Ring, originally compiled and edited by Frodo Baggins between SR 1419 and SR 1421. The Hobbit system seems similar to a modern postal system, including its offices being filled to overcapacity during holiday events, especially before Bilbo's 111st birthday party. Additionally, hobbits might pick up or drop off their mail at the post office counter, while wealthier hobbits might have mail delivered directly to their door. The final stop on the tour is the Bywater Mill across the water, which provided hydropower for hobbit technologies. The reconstruction of the textile mill was supported by texts written by hobbits of the time period. In his memoir, The Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins spoke of having rooms devoted to clothes, while in The Return of the King, he worried that his young cousins, Merry, Brandy, Buck, and Pippin Took, would grow too big to fit into clothes. This indicated that hobbit clothes were mass-manufactured, at least those worn by wealthier hobbits. The reconstructed mill would have originally housed textile manufacturing equipment, including looms and sewing machines, all powered by the water. Today, this space can be rented out for special events, including birthday parties and weddings. Proceeds from these rentals support further research and restoration of historic properties in the Shire. Thank you for touring Bywater with us today. I hope you enjoyed your visit. Feel free to stop by our online gift shop to peruse period-accurate Hobbit furniture reproductions, the perfect size for a 5 to 8-year-old child of men. The Hobbit's emphasis on comfort and practicality make this furniture the perfect choice for early elementary classrooms, especially in Montessori and Waldorf schools. All proceeds go to support the Shire Preservation Society. If you would like to visit Bywater in person, please consider that the buildings are not wheelchair accessible at this time due to the round doors. Ceiling height varies from 54 inches to 96 inches, so big folk must take care not to bump their head. Signage and brochures are written only in Westron at this time.